Welcome back to the Motivated Mind Zone. Glad to have you here.
Great to be diving in again. And today, wow, we're tackling a big one. Love, connection, relationships, but maybe not in the way people usually think about it.
Exactly. This isn't just about, finding someone. We're going deeper.
Much deeper. We're looking at self-awareness, understanding our own patterns, really building something meaningful.
And we've pulled together some incredible insights for this deep dive. We're talking top-tier folks, therapists, coaches, even a neuroscientist.
Right. People like Lori Gottlieb, Dr. Joe Dispenza, Matthew Hussey, Stefan Speaks. A real powerhouse lineup.
We've synthesized their advice around, 9 key areas. The goal is to get past the surface level stuff.
Yeah, to really equip you with the wisdom to navigate love with real clarity and purpose.
The core idea, the thread tying it all together, seems to be this shift. It's not about finding the perfect person out there somewhere.
No, not at all. It flips the script. It's about becoming the person capable of attracting and sustaining that healthy, fulfilling connection. It starts with you.
Okay, so if it starts with us, where's the actual starting point? Logically.
Honesty. Brutal honesty with yourself. That's where Stefan Speaks kicks things off.
Before you even look at the other person, you gotta look in the mirror.
Absolutely. He argues that before you can figure out if they're wasting your time, you need to get real clear on why you're choosing to stay, especially if something feels off.
What does that off look like? Like if a relationship is just sort of treading water.
Yeah, stagnant, going nowhere, not really meeting your core needs. You have to ask yourself, okay, what am I getting out of this? What function is this dynamic serving for me?
That's uncomfortable. We don't like asking that.
Nope. And we come up with some pretty clever ways to avoid it. Self-sabotage, basically.
What are the classic excuses, the rationalizations we tell ourselves?
Stefan points out a couple of big ones. First, the nice person trap.
But they're so nice.
Exactly. They're kind, they're decent, a quote-unquote good person, but there's no spark, no real connection, no shared direction. You're settling for comfortable instead of compatible.
Just because it's familiar and not actively bad.
Mm-hmm. And the second big self-sabotage.
Yeah.
Pure dread of starting over.
Oh, yeah. The dating apps, the awkward first dates.
Yeah.
Right.
The sheer effort involved. It feels easier, less immediately painful to just stick with the known, even if the known is unsatisfying.
But that's just delaying the inevitable, isn't it? If you're staying out of convenience or fear.
It's setting yourself up for disaster.
Mm-hmm.
You're basically guaranteeing it won't work out in the long run. And Stefan's point is, sharp here, when it ends, you'll know you knew. It wasn't bad luck. It was self-betrayal. You wasted your own time.
Okay, so that's the internal check. What about the external signs? How do you know the other person isn't really in it for the long haul?
The behavioral clues are pretty consistent across the board, according to the sources. Are they unwilling to talk seriously about the future? That's a huge red flag.
Or maybe they talk, but nothing changes.
Exactly. That's crucial. If you've discussed core issues, things that really matter to you, and they agree to address them, but then nothing happens repeatedly, that's a loud signal.
Yeah. Actions speak louder than words, basically.
Always. And the biggest sign, a fundamental lack of alignment. Your core values, your life goals, where you see yourselves heading. If those paths are diverging significantly, holding on is just, well, it's futile.
It's prolonging the pain. Now, here's something that really jumped out at me from Stefan's work. Intuition, that gut feeling.
Yes, he really emphasizes this, especially, he notes, for women. People often know very early on, sometimes within weeks or even the first few dates, when a connection isn't right.
But we talk ourselves out of it.
We rationalize it away. Oh, maybe I'm being too picky. Oh, maybe they'll change. Oh, maybe I misunderstood. We ignore that inner alarm bell.
And the consequences of ignoring it
Can be massive. That little whisper you ignored early on. It can turn weeks of dating into months, years of unhappiness, even lead to a marriage you knew deep down wasn't right from the start. It's incredibly destructive to override that inner knowing.
Wow. Okay, so step one, radical self-honesty and trusting that gut feeling. That's a strong foundation.
It has to be the foundation.
Which leads us nicely into the next big theme, chemistry versus connection. Because that initial spark, that chemistry, can really cloud our judgment, can it?
Oh, absolutely. Chemistry is intoxicating. It's exciting. It feels amazing, all those neurochemicals firing. But Stefan warns us, chemistry is often superficial.
Superficial, how?
Well, think about the presentation problem he talks about. In the beginning, we're often showing up as our representative.
Our best self. Polished, agreeable, funny.
Right. The optimized version.
Yeah.
The low-maintenance version we think the other person wants.
Yeah.
So the chemistry you feel, it might be based on that performance, that fantasy, not the real complex person underneath.
So it's not real if it's based on an act.
It's not sustainable. True connection, he argues, requires feeling safe enough to be your authentic self,
Yeah.
your messy, imperfect, sometimes difficult self, without fearing immediate judgment or rejection.
Okay, so chemistry is the sizzle, the immediate attraction, maybe fun conversations.
You get caught up in the moment, you had a great date, lots of laughs, physical attraction, but lacks depth.
And connection is.
Connection is about substance. It's about shared paths, aligned values, a sense of purpose. Can you actually head in the same direction together? It's looking beyond the weekend to the next 5, 10, 20 years.
That sounds like work, like due diligence.
It is due diligence, and
Um,
it's the part we often skip because we're high on the chemistry.
We don't want to ask the hard questions.
Exactly. Stefan calls it the fear of blowing up the fantasy, asking about relationship goals, finances, family expectations, core values. These things feel heavy. They might puncture the bubble.
So we avoid them.
We avoid them. We prioritize the short-term buzz over long-term stability. But avoiding those questions means you never confirm if the connection is actually real, if it has legs.
You're choosing the illusion.
You are, consciously or unconsciously. The advice here is clear. Stop performing, start being real, and start asking those probing questions early. See their reality. Don't just project your hopes onto them.
Okay, demanding reality, not fantasy. That takes courage. And it transitions perfectly into the idea of doing the actual work on ourselves. Lori Gottlieb comes in strong here.
Yeah, she really challenges that societal pressure, that feeling of being behind if you're single at a certain age, 28, 35, whatever.
But timeline myth, it causes so much anxiety.
It really does. Gottlieb's message is liberating.
Yeah.
You're exactly where you need to be, and it's a big if you're using that time for self-development, for the work.
Singlehood isn't a waiting room, it's a workshop. So
Yeah.
what exactly is the work? It sounds daunting.
It can be, but it's crucial.
Yeah.
It means really digging into your past relationships, not just listing what the other person did wrong.
Which is usually our first instinct.
Totally. It's about looking at your role,
Yeah.
your patterns, your contributions to the dynamic, why things didn't work out, what could you be doing differently next time.
Oof. Taking responsibility.
That's the core of it, which leads to her fantastic distinction between idiot compassion and wise compassion.
I love this framing. Explain it.
Okay, so idiot compassion is what usually happens when you vent to friends after a breakup or a bad date. They jump in with, oh, he was a jerk. She wasn't good enough for you anyway.
Yeah, they rally around you, make you feel better.
Exactly. It feels good temporarily. It validates your feelings, but it stops you from learning anything. It prevents any self-reflection because it puts all the blame out there.
So it's compassionate, but ultimately unhelpful for growth, like an idiot.
Pretty much. Wise compassion, on the other hand, is different. It's often what you find in therapy, or maybe with a truly insightful friend. It doesn't just soothe, it holds up a mirror.
Gently, hopefully.
Gently but
Yeah.
firmly, yes.
Yeah.
It helps you see your part in the dance. That's the term she uses for the recurring patterns of interaction in your relationships.
The dance. Like the push-pull dynamic or...
Exactly like that. For instance, maybe you're always the pursuer in arguments, chasing resolution, while your partners tend to be withdrawers, shutting down.
Okay, I can see that.
The more you pursue, the more they withdraw. It's a cycle, a dance. Wise compassion helps you see your steps in that dance. How does the way you pursue maybe contribute to their withdrawal?
Ah, so it's not about blame, but about understanding the system you co-create.
Precisely. Identifying your pattern in that dance is the only way to break free and stop attracting the same kind of dynamic over and over again, like always ending up with emotionally unavailable people.
That requires some serious self-awareness, and it ties into another big concept from Gottlieb. Marrying your unfinished business. Sounds ominous.
It is a bit unsettling, but it explains so much. The idea is we all have emotional wounds or patterns from childhood, maybe neglect, criticism, unreliability, whatever it was.
Right, our early blueprints.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
consciously we think, okay, I definitely don't want that again. I want someone stable, loving, reliable, the opposite of what hurt me.
Makes sense. But
Unconsciously, the brain seeks familiarity. It's wired for what it knows, even if what it knows is painful. So if you haven't done the work to heal those old wounds,
you're drawn to people who feel familiar, even if it's a familiar kind of pain.
bingo, you're attracted to people who resonate with that old blueprint. It feels strangely comfortable, like home, even if it's dysfunctional home. Then a few months in, you have that dawning realization, oh my God, they remind me of my critical parent, or this feels just like that unreliable figure from my past. That's the unfinished business showing up.
Wow. So the goal isn't just to avoid the bad types, but to actually change who feels familiar or attractive to you on a deeper level.
That's the transformation. When you do the work, you heal the blueprint. Those old, unhealthy dynamics stop feeling comfortable or exciting. They might even start to feel repellent.
And healthy starts to feel good,
Say,
attractive.
yes. Your internal compass recalibrates. You start genuinely attracting and being attracted to people who are stable, flexible, emotionally generous,
Yeah.
people whose values actually align with who you are now, not who you were when you were wounded. Your type literally changes because you've changed internally.
That internal shift is everything. Which brings us to Dr. Joe Dispenza and the neuroscience perspective on breaking these cycles.
Right. Dispenza points out something fascinating. Often, it takes a major life crisis, a trauma, a betrayal, hitting rock bottom, for someone to finally decide, okay, I cannot keep being this person. I need to change.
The wake-up call.
The painful wake-up call. His challenge is profound. Why wait for the crisis? Why not choose to transform proactively?
Instead of being forced into it by a disaster.
Exactly. His work is about conscious evolution. It's not just about visualizing your ideal partner. It's about embarking on the mission to become that person yourself.
So if I want someone emotionally available and communicative, I
Yeah.
need to become more emotionally available and communicative first.
Precisely.
Yeah.
You have to raise your own standard. You have to embody the qualities you seek. You essentially have to become worthy of attracting that person by matching their energy, their state of being.
That ties into his idea about not being able to attract what you feel separate from,
Right.
which can
Right.
sound a bit abstract.
It can sound abstract, but he grounds it in neurochemistry. If you're constantly feeling lonely, lacking, incomplete, like love is out there and you're over here, that feeling itself, that state of being, is what you're broadcasting energetically.
Like attracts, like in terms of internal state.
In a neurochemical sense, yes. Your dominant thoughts and emotions create your state of being. If your state is lack, you're essentially tuned to the frequency of lack. To attract abundance, connection, joy, you have to tune yourself to that frequency
Okay, how do you tune yourself? How does that become practical?
through practice, through deliberately cultivating the feeling of the future you desire now. This is his concept of reaching the state of already having it.
Feeling like you already have the love, the connection, even before it arrives.
Yes, it's about getting to a place where you feel so whole, so complete, so joyful in your own life that you're genuinely not looking anymore. You're not operating from neediness.
Because you feel full already.
You feel full already. And when you operate from that state of wholeness, of self-possessed joy, you naturally attract others who are vibrating at a similar level. Equals are drawn together. It's magnetic, but it starts internally.
This really flips the script on how we're conditioned, doesn't it? We wait for the relationship to make us feel happy.
That's the trap. Waiting for the external event to create the internal feeling. Dispenza says the most powerful way to create is the opposite. Feel the emotion first. Feel the joy, the gratitude, the connection now, as if your desired future is already happening.
Like rehearsing the feeling.
Exactly. Through practices like meditation, you're teaching your body chemically what that future feels like. You're moving out of the familiar past and into the potential of the future.
But what happens when life hits? Stress, bad days. You slip back into feeling lack or fear.
And that's the battleground. The moment you default back to those familiar survival emotions, fear, anxiety, impatience, loneliness, you're literally rewiring yourself back into the past.
You activate the old neural pathways.
Right. And you start looking at the future through that old lens. The story comes back. Dating is hard. Good partners are rare. It'll never happen for me. That past story, fueled by those familiar negative emotions, programs your subconscious and blocks the vision of the future.
So the real work is maintaining that elevated emotional state, that feeling of the future, despite present circumstances.
Consistently enough to forge new neural pathways, to make the future feel more familiar than the past. It's about breaking the habit of being your old self.
Wow, that's a powerful reframe. It's an internal discipline. Okay, so let's say we've done some of this work, we're feeling more whole, maybe we're in a connection. Then comes the optimization trap. Matthew Hussey talks about this.
Yes, the danger of constantly thinking, is this the best I can do? Could there be someone better? The optimization mindset.
Driven by endless options, maybe? Dating apps?
Partly, yes, and partly by ego. Hussey says we start questioning good relationships based on superficial, ego-driven criteria. Do they fit my exact physical type? Is their job prestigious enough? Do they make enough money? Do they look good on my arm? It's treating a person like a product to be optimized.
Searching for that perfect 10-10.
Which is a fool's errand in love. Because, as Hussey points out, everyone is imperfect. Everyone. There's no flawless human.
And trying to trade up can backfire?
Massively. He uses this great analogy. Say you leave a solid, reliable 7 because you think you've found a shiny 9. That 9 might look perfect on paper, but they'll inevitably score like a 3 in some area you didn't even realize the 7 was great at.
Like maybe the 7 was incredibly kind or rock solid in a crisis.
Exactly. You trade known, manageable imperfections for unknown, potentially deal-breaking ones. You optimize one feature and end up with a worse overall product, to use that flawed term.
So you can't optimize a human.
You can't.
Yeah.
Hussey's core point is that extraordinary relationships aren't found. They're built. They're sculpted together over time.
Sculpted.
If you have the right raw materials like mutual respect, shared core values, commitment, that fundamental alignment we talked about, you take those imperfect ingredients and you work together to create something unique, something amazing. It's an act of co-creation.
That requires commitment, not constant comparison, which leads to his idea about settling. That word makes people cringe.
It totally does. We associate it with failure, with giving up, settling for less than you deserve.
But he reframes it.
He reframes it brilliantly. Instead of settling for, he talks about settling on.
Settling on a person. What's the difference?
It's the difference between passive resignation and active choice. Settling on someone is a decision. It's saying, okay, I see your flaws. I know you're not perfect. Neither am I. But I choose you. I commit to this. We are going to build this together. It's an act of power, of agency.
Choosing your partner, imperfections and all.
Choosing them actively. And he uses this striking rat experiment analogy to show why choice is so critical.
Okay, lay it on us. The rat experiment.
So there are two rats. Rat A gets put on a running wheel, and it can choose when to run and when to stop. Rat B is physically linked to Rat A's wheel. It has to run whenever Rat A decides to run, for the exact same duration and distance.
So same amount of exercise physically.
Identical physical exertion, but the outcomes, totally different. Rat A, the one with choice, shows positive health markers, lower stress, benefits of exercise.
And rat B, the one forced to run.
Shows major negative stress markers, high cortisol, declining health. The only difference was the lack of control, the lack of choice.
Wow. So the takeaway for relationships is...
You must choose it. You must feel like you are actively opting in, choosing the effort, choosing the imperfections, choosing the person. If you feel forced or passive or like you just ended up there, you'll feel like rat B, stressed, resentful, unhealthy.
And related to that, he says anyone who isn't actively choosing you should lose their appeal.
Instantly. If someone sees you as an option, if they're ambivalent, if they're not actively choosing to be with you, that's not romantic. That's a clear signal. Stop romanticizing the unavailable.
Which means we have to ditch that right person, wrong time narrative.
Oh, completely. He calls it a pernicious, dangerous story. It keeps us hooked on fantasy, on what might have been, instead of appreciating and investing in the real, committed person who is choosing us right here, right now. Choose actively, or you're choosing stress.
Choose your pain, choose your commitment. That's powerful. Okay, so now we're in a chosen, committed relationship. How do we predict its future health?
Laura Gottlieb circles back here.
And her advice is refreshingly simple. Look at what's happening now. Stop projecting hopes onto the future. Stop thinking, oh, they'll change eventually.
What you see is what you get.
Pretty much. Their current behavior, especially under stress, is your best predictor. And the key indicator isn't how well you get along when things are easy.
It's how you handle conflict.
Exactly. It's the dynamic of rupture and repair.
Rupture being the inevitable disagreements, frustrations. Every deep relationship has them. If you've been together 6 months and haven't had a single argument or moment of friction, Gottlieb says you're probably not being real enough. You're still performing.
Still on best behavior. So conflict is actually necessary data.
It's essential data. The strength isn't avoiding rupture, it's mastering the repair. How do you come back together after a fight or misunderstanding?
What does healthy repair look like in practice?
It often starts with managing the heat of the moment, maybe agreeing to take a 15-minute cool down. But the core is the aftermath. One partner needs to be able to say sincerely, you know what, I thought about it, I was wrong, I overreacted, and I'm sorry.
Taking ownership.
Yes. And then, crucially, the other partner needs to accept that apology graciously.
Without rubbing it in.
Yeah.
Or bringing up past mistakes.
Exactly. No shaming, no scorekeeping. Ideally, the receiving partner might even add their own reflection. Thanks for saying that. I realize I could have handled my reaction better, too.
That mutual humility, that teamwork and getting back on track.
That collaborative repair process is the future of the relationship, playing out in the present. If you can do that consistently over small things, you have evidence you can likely handle bigger things together down the road. That's the future tripping that matters.
Seeing the repair muscle in action now. Got it. But sometimes, even with good repair skills, a relationship just runs its course. It's time to let go. James Corden offers a really poignant analogy for this.
The balloon analogy. It's beautiful. He says we're often taught that when we find something good in a relationship, we should hold on to it tightly, forever, like tying a balloon string to your wrist.
Because you don't want to lose it, especially if it felt hard to find.
Right. But what happens to balloons over time?
Deflate, lose their air, get wrinkly.
Exactly. The relationship, the balloon wilts. It runs out of life, loses its vibrancy. And Corden observes that so many people end up just dragging this faded, lifeless thing behind them.
Why is it so hard to just untie the string?
Fear. The sunk cost fallacy. thinking about all the time and energy already invested. And the fear of the unknown, the fear of being alone, of starting over, it feels safer, somehow, to cling to the deflated balloon.
Even if it's kind of sad and embarrassing.
Even then. But the magic, Corden suggests, is in the release.
Letting go.
Letting go. Untying the knot. It can feel terrifying, but it's often necessary. Because letting go of the old wilted balloon creates the space
For new one.
for a new one to potentially float into your life. Maybe a shinier one, a different color, one that fits who you are now. Release enables renewal.
And he even reframes heartbreak itself, doesn't he? Not as failure, but as learning.
As invaluable tuition.
Ah.
Heartbreak teaches you viscerally how precious and tender love is. You gain wisdom you couldn't get any other way. It informs your next connection.
So it's not game over, it's level up.
Kind of. He tells a friend going through it, this is great, you get to do it again. Meaning you get to take everything you learned from that intense experience and apply it, hopefully making the next chapter even better. It's part of the journey.
Okay, learning from letting go. Powerful. Finally, let's touch on how to love fully without losing ourselves in the process. Radhi Devlukiasheti offers some key insights here.
Two really important points. First, she challenges how we measure investment, typically by time spent.
Right, 2 hours must mean more than 15 minutes.
She says that's flawed. It's not about the quantity of time, it's the quality of presence.
Being fully there.
Exactly. You can feel more seen, more loved, more connected in 15 minutes of someone's undivided, present attention than in 2 hours of them being distracted, half listening, checking their phone.
Presence is the real currency.
It's the real investment. Her second point is maybe even more crucial. The danger of the dependency trap.
Meaning, when your partner becomes really dependent on you, or maybe you enjoy people being dependent on you.
That second part is the trap she highlights. Sometimes people like having others depend on them for advice, for help, for emotional support. Why?
Makes them feel needed, important.
Exactly. It boosts their sense of significance. Especially, she notes, if they feel a bit lost or uncertain about their own life or purpose. Being needed fills a void.
So being the helper or the rescuer can actually be selfish.
It can become a way to avoid your own stuff. Pouring all your energy into fixing someone else means you don't have to face your own internal work, your own challenges.
Wow. That requires some real honesty about our motives.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Genuine care is one thing, but needing someone to be dependent on you to feel valuable, that's different. Devlukiasheti stresses maintaining your own strong sense of self, checking your intentions. Is this pure support, or is it feeding my own neediness and distracting me from my own growth? Are they responsible for making me feel worthy?
Don't lose yourself in the helping. That's a perfect place to tie things together. This whole deep dive, all these experts, the message seems incredibly consistent.
It really is. Love isn't this passive thing we find. It's an active internal process of growth, awareness, and intentional choice. We have to take the reins.
Okay, so let's distill it down. The key takeaways for you listening. First, be brutally honest. Why are you really staying? Second, ask those deep alignment questions early. Forget just chemistry.
Third, do the work. Identify your patterns, your dance, your unfinished business. Fourth, focus on becoming the person you seek. Feel the joy now. Don't wait for it.
Fifth, choose to settle on someone actively, embracing imperfection. Sixth, watch the rupture and repair dynamic, that's your crystal ball for the future, happening now.
Seventh, know when to let the balloon go. Release creates space. Eighth, learn from heartbreak, it's tuition. And ninth, love fully, but check your intentions. Don't lose yourself by needing others to depend on you.
It's a comprehensive roadmap, really, and it points to a fundamental shift in where we focus our energy.
Totally. We obsess about optimizing the partner's looks, job, status. But all these experts are shouting, optimize your internal state, optimize your behavior.
So the final provocative thought for everyone to chew on.
Right. If the single best predictor of your long-term relationship health is the quality of your rupture and repair dynamic,
Yeah.
how you handle conflict, how you apologize, how you reconcile,
Yeah.
then how much time and conscious effort are you actually dedicating to practicing that skill? In your current relationship with your family, your friends, even colleagues, practicing humility, practicing apology, practicing collaborative problem solving,
That skill, that's the real investment.
that's the most valuable future tripping you can do. Forget fantasizing about the perfect person. Start practicing the skills needed to build a great relationship with an imperfect one right now in the small moments. That's where the real magic happens.